Hey, this is Cyberflare, and today we're going to be going over how to redistribute points. So, if you're new to this game, then you've probably realized that you're not getting your points as you'd want to. So, if I go back to, let's say, a hero here, and you see all these stat points have already been distributed, you're like, oh, wait a second, I wanted to put my points into speed, defense, power, or health, and you weren't able to, then there's a chance that you have to go to your settings and fix it. So, when you start the game, it automatically has all of these on. What you want to do is you want to turn off auto assign stat points because that's what automatically gives points to your heroes without you getting to choose. I have different options on. Also, I turn off soul summoning animations because it takes too long to summon them, and as you progress in the game, the animations can take a while and it becomes frustrating. Now, what do you do once you've turned off auto distribution of stat points? That's a good question, and we're going to go over a couple of different ones, and I'll have links for each one in the captions so you can skip ahead to different classifications. So the first one here, we're going to have the tank. So the Owl Father here is one of the first bosses of the game after Craig, and it's a tank. So anything, if you go here to abilities, here, all allied owls get 40% power. NPCs will target this first, so it's essentially taunt. Father's Wrath, it makes stun first 100% of the time for first 3 attacks, and it's a boss. So essentially this is going to soak up all the damage for your heroes, and that's why if I go here, I want to say, okay, I want to put mine in health and defense. So since all the points have been distributed already, and I want to be able to distribute mine on my own, I have to spend 10 gems and I have to redistribute it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some here in defense, and then I'm going to pour some into health as well. So what ends up happening is there's a difference between defense and health. Health is how much damage it takes before the hero is knocked out, whereas defense is how much damage is mitigated. So let's say you have an enemy that's dealing 1,000 damage, and my Owl Father has 1,000 defense. That means that the power of the enemy hero isn't enough to break through the defense of my Owl Father, so it'll mark it as a miss. Whereas if the power of the enemy was 1,200 and the defense is 1,133, I still have 67 damage going to the Owl Father's health being taken away every time he's hit. So I'll show that on the screen a bit of how it works, but that's how that works for defenses. So Mumlet, Owl Father, you've got other ones as well here that are going to be tanks. It really depends on what you're going for and what type of setup. Right now I have 2 tanks. I have damage, and these aren't supposed to be really damage as much as DPS, because when you're farming, and I'll go over this in like another video, but when you're farming, what you want to do is you want to have a highest DPS with low damage so that it's constantly targeting the enemy and dropping souls, gold, or whatever else. So if I were to go to, let's see, this one, for example, you can see that this minigunner is a farmer, not the farmer soul, but a farmer, right? So I put all into speed, and then I put the rest into health and defense, because what I want is the minigunner to be able to live as long as possible, but at the same time attack every 4.4 seconds so that it's constantly attacking. Because this was at 11 seconds before, and we don't want that. Because we want to be able to start farming as quickly as possible. And if you wanted to do damage, then you'd put this at 4.4, and you'd pour the rest into power. So I think I have it in this one that's, 4.4, 586. The power increases very slowly, so don't expect much. Another DPS or more damage one, so insta-kill, would be this one, the Owl Mother. You can see she has Owl's Conflagration, which gives them 50% chance to burn on attack. And she hits all enemies at once and gives the other owls the same ability. So essentially, I dumped all the stats into power. Why? Because she does a 3,100, assuming that the enemy doesn't have any defense. But the enemy will, so it'll do about 2,800 depending on the enemy, or maybe less. So let's go into a battle here, and I'll show you how it works in terms of farming. So I'm fighting the Cobrasp. It's the second world. It's the desert. The Mumlet right here stunned all the enemies, so it's giving my heroes a chance to attack and destroy all the royal mummies before they can deal damage to my owl father, because that 4 extra heroes on the side can really add up damage against my team and destroy it. So I want to get rid of them first, which is why I have the bunny as well, because the bunny is dealing damage super quickly. It increases attack speed, allowing for it to be farmed at a quicker rate. So if I was to, let's say, change this over here a bit, let's see. We're gonna pour something into, let's see, mythics. We'll go all mythic team, right? So here's my damage. Here's my silence. And we'll do here and, let's see, Glubby. So Glubby is actually a unique one. It's a different type of tank where you have the Owl Father, who's a tank for just taking damage and preventing it from other heroes being attacked. This one is one where it protects against defenses with constant misses. So if attacks miss 50% of the time, then what you want to do is you want to pour everything into defense. So every time that they do get a hit, it is a super low amount of damage that is affected. But here, I'm actually going to pull something up for you right now, and it's going to be the wiki. So when you're looking at different hero stats, you have to take into account what kind of stats stack up properly with different heroes. So, for example, if you go back here and you go to abilities or stats, you have health and defense, right? But each one has a different type of gain, and it's kind of weird, but I'll try to pop it up right now. So Glubby, for example, when he has defense and power, they won't go up at the same rate. So if we drag this over here, we go here, base stats, and upgrade increase. So Glubby's health increases at 350, and Glubby's defense increases by 25. In this case, if I really wanted to go back, I'd be like, oh, hey, look, my stats were incorrect. I put it into attack or health instead of defense, or the other way around. Then you'd be like, oh, okay, I need to fix that, spend the 10 gems, and then increase this, because this is obviously the better choice. So different things are geared towards, different stats are geared towards different things. And so if I go back here, for example, go back here again, we can go to the Owl Father, right? And it always requires a bit of research when you're doing this, because you want to make sure that you're getting the right setup for each hero. So in this case, Owl Father's health is increased by 120 and defense by 27. Now that's not too shabby. I mean, it's definitely a slight increase than this, but you see the Glubby increases 350, whereas the Owl Father increases 120. So you can see it's not geared towards health as much as it is towards a mix of these two. And, I mean, a likewise thing would be with the Owl Mother, let's say, right? Let's see, I actually haven't checked this one, but the power boost is 48. It's typically averaged out. So this one, that's why I put it into power, because it's not going to be a defensive one, because you have to be complementing your heroes constantly. So you want 1 defense, you want 1 item pickup. That would be like Tim the Green. That would be different ones. You want to increase attack. You want to poison. So if you wanted to poison, for example, I'd pick Wish Z. Why? Because look at him. He increases attack with coding magic. He gives players or heroes the chance to get 25% increase in items. And he poisons all enemies whenever, or he poisons an enemy whenever one of the heroes attacks. So if I have this with Owl Mother, she's a 50% chance or 25% chance of poisoning all the enemies that she attacks. And granted, she attacks all enemies at once, that means all of them. So 25% chance for all of them, that's a good amount that one of them is going to be poisoned. So just make sure that when you're redistributing points that you have to go back and look at it. Don't worry about the amount of gems you spend in redistributing points, because it's really cheap right now. 10 gems, it's not much. If you go to daily quests, I get, well, because I have premium, 1,200, 100, 100. That's 10 resets, and that's much more. So, I mean, you really don't have to worry about gems as much. That's 50, 50, 600 gems. And even then, if you're saving up gems, you can go to Discord, and if you go to the Discord, you can go to Hero Havoc and go to trade discussion, and different people are buying and selling different things, and what you can do is you can go up here, you can go search, and you can go to, let's say, minigunner, and different searching options will pop up here, and people are gonna offer deals. And the only thing you have to be aware of is lots of people will say offer or give me a price, and that's where you have to do a bit of research and go into the trade history and figure out, oh, okay, what did people trade for minigunner? Because then you have to realize how much it really is worth, because you don't want to get ripped off. I mean, that went into the redistribution, past the redistribution a little bit, but I hope that was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed. Cheers.